Why your kids think you don't listen. As a teacher, youth mentor, and educational coach, I've spent a career getting to know kids. During this time, one thing has really stood out. Somewhere around the middle school years, children start to believe that parents just don't listen. At the same time, whenever I conference with parents, they always insist that they do. So where's the disconnect? The disconnect is rooted in the 3 levels of listening. Level 1. Listening to speak. If you've ever been in a situation when you're talking to somebody who just can't seem to hear what you're saying, you've been the recipient of Level 1 listening. Level 1 is when the listener is more focused on what he or she is thinking than on what the speaker is saying. I'm convinced that one of the greatest challenges parents face is the battle against Level 1 listening. Watch out for it the next time you talk to your kids. Are you anxiously waiting for them to finish so that you can talk? Level 1 listening. Do you find yourself interrupting to tell them why they're wrong? Level 1 listening. Can't remember half of what they've told you during the car ride home? Level 1 listening. To be sure, I'm not saying that Level 1 listening is never appropriate. That would be impossible. We can't set aside all of our internal thoughts whenever our kids talk to us. After all, we're parents who are busy with parenting. The problem occurs when we use Level 1 listening during meaningful conversations. If your children are expressing personal feelings, sharing a significant event, asking a question, or disagreeing with you, Level 1 listening is particularly hurtful. This type of listening implies to your child that what's being said isn't that big of a deal, even though on a superficial level you're quote-unquote listening. Moreover, while children feel invalidated, they probably don't understand why. The result is a kid who thinks, it feels like my parents aren't really listening to me when I talk to them. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, summed it up like this. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Level 2. Listening to hear. Level 2 listening is when you give full mental and emotional attention to your child. This is when you're more interested in what your kids are saying than in your own thoughts or agenda. One way to know that you're doing this is when you start to emotionally connect. Do you find yourself sharing in your child's joy as she shares about how she made a new friend? That's Level 2 listening. Another way to tell is to think about your body language. Are you looking directly at your child or facing him when he's talking? That's Level 2 listening. This type of attentiveness is critical to children because it communicates you are important, your thoughts are important. At a time when kids are developing their sense of self-identity, these unspoken cues are vital. This is especially critical if your kids experience love through quality time or encouraging words. Level 3. Listening to understand. Level 3 listening is when you're not only paying attention to what your kids are saying, but also to why they're saying it. This is the most complex and difficult type of listening because it involves having to actively decipher all of the things that aren't being said. For instance, one day when I picked up my 5-year-old from school, she declared, "I'm never going to school again," which prompted me to turn on my Level 3 radar. "Why do you say that, little honey?" "Because I had a bad day and I won't ever have a good day again." I don't like bad days either. I can see why that would bother you. People have bad days for different reasons. Why do you think you had a bad day? Maya said that she wouldn't share her Doritos with me. I see. You know, when people don't want to share with me, that upsets me too. But you know what? Do you think other people will want to share with you? Like mommy and me? In that situation, it took some prodding to figure out exactly what my daughter meant. I'm mad at Maya and want Doritos, from what she actually said, I'm never going to school again. This is especially difficult to do with children because children are novice communicators. But at the same time, it's especially important because they need us, parents, to model empathy and deep listening. Thus, if you really want to get to know and understand your kids, you have to employ Level 3 listening. Fortunately, listening is a skill, and just like other skills, we can get better with practice. The first step is to be aware of how you're listening, and the next is to be intentional about getting it to the appropriate level. Let your children know that when you say you're listening, you really are.